Hi, everyone. Welcome to my podcast YouTube channel. I am your host, Rebecca Starr. Today, we are headed to the Chateau Marmont that is located in West Hollywood, approximately 16 miles away from the LAX International Airport in California. It is located on Sunset Boulevard, and it has been a historical landmark for nearly 93 years. The chateau design is inspired by the original chateau in France named Chateau Amboise, where the very famous painter, draughtsman, engineer, scientist, theorist, sculptor, and architect by the name of Leonardo da Vinci lays to rest. The Chateau Marmont is designed by Arnold Weitzman and colleague William Douglas Lee.
Almost as long as there's been a Hollywood, there's been the castle on the hill. The Chateau Marmont, perched above glitzy Sunset Boulevard.
Because of its geographical location and its very comfortable accommodations, it really became the Hollywood Hotel almost from the beginning of Hollywood itself.
Filmmaker and Vanity Fair contributor Matt Turnauer is a Chateau regular. He says as long as there's been a Chateau Marmont, Hollywood has found it the perfect place to hang out and act out.
For whatever reason, it's been a place where you could disappear right in the middle of Hollywood.
Marilyn Monroe hung out here. So did Elizabeth Taylor. That's Jean Harlow on the patio. Bogey in the garden. Lauren Hutton on the balcony. More recently, Cameron Diaz, Paris Hilton, Lindsay Lohan. Generations of Hollywood celebrities drawn by the Chateau's alluring mix of decadence and discretion.
The Chateau is about discretion, it's about privacy, and it's about allowing people to be who they feel they need to be.
Andre Balaz owns the Chateau Marmont. This is a hotel with a storied history. What are some of the best stories about this place?
We don't really discuss.
The hotel opened its doors in 1929. It is 6 stories high and has 63 suites that are all very unique. The suites have a built-in kitchen and living room. The designers had a vision in mind to build this lavish apartment complex. It was meant for the elite in mind. Some can take up to 3 to 4 months. Others can take about a year or 2. The entrance of the hotel was towards the back rear, and it offered an underground garage. At the time, the hotel did not have a front desk, pool, or restaurant. The hotel promised privacy, exclusivity, security, and discretion, and the entire building was actually soundproof. Which to me sounds very synonymous to the quote, "What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. What happens at the chateau stays at the chateau." They would say the word on the streets was if you wanted to be seen by the paparazzi, if you wanted to be on the spotlight, you would go hang out at the Beverly Hills Hotel. If you did not want to be seen, you would go hang out at the Chateau Marmont. In 1948, the hotel actually went through some renovations. The owners decided to build in a main front desk, a main bar, and a restaurant in lieu to have other guests mingle with each other. There was no official dress code at the hotel. There was also an outdoor pool that was built in, additional seating, poolside chairs, and additional plants that created a very beautiful patio ambiance. Then the word quickly spread that it was a hotspot. The hotel had about 62 employees at the time and 4 men working the valet parking and garage area. These 4 men called themselves the Garage Boys. They worked at the Chateau Marmont since it opened its doors. The hotel has an underground garage where they would greet their high profile guests and valet their cars. Remind you again that these are the mid 1900s very large vehicles made out of steel. The garage boys would wash and wax their vehicles, and of course, they soon became very close with their owners. So much so that it is said that Desi Arnaz and many others would go hang out with them and have drinks. Desi would play his conga drum and create quite a party. The Garage Boys would also offer driving services where they would take their guests and drop them off and pick them up later at night while they had a blast in Hollywood. While writing the movie A Rebel Without a Cause was up and coming, it was said that James Dean, Natalie Wood, and director Nicholas Ray would hang out at the chateau on Sundays and rehearse their lines while the movie was being developed. It was also rumored that Natalie Wood, age 16, started having an affair with director Nicholas Ray. He was 27 years old, her senior. He began taking her out to dinner, and then later they became lovers. Christopher Walken was also a regular at the Chateau Marmont. He soon became friends also with Natalie Wood. It was rumored that they had a romance, but it was always denied. Years later, during an overnight boat in November of 1981, Natalie Wood was found drowned in the bay of Catalina Island in California. Walken was one of the three men that were on the boat, and if you're interested in a video about this mysterious death, comment down below because I do have a true crime series, and this is one of the murder mysteries that I'm very curious about. Another tale is that Betty Davis, who was an actress at the time, she received 10 Academy Award nominations, and she was the first woman to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award. In 1958, while in her room at the hotel, she was watching one of her old movies and she was smoking a cigarette and accidentally fell asleep. The room caught on fire, and the guest staying next door actually saw the smoke coming out of her balcony. He broke into her suite bedroom and actually saved her life. The hotel had to be evacuated. A few years later, while she was staying at the hotel again, there was an electrical shortage and the alarms went off the entire hotel, and she never went back. Marilyn Monroe, the blonde bombshell, was also a VIP at the hotel. While she was sitting on the couch while doing an interview for the cover of Time magazine, she asked her male journalist if they could continue the interview while she laid on the bed in her room. She completed the interview and was on the cover of Time magazine. On two occasions, Marilyn Monroe's actual room actually lit on fire, and she saw it as a bad omen, and she never went back. The hotel was very popular within the rock star world, and Jim Morrison actually stayed there during the 1970s until approximately a year before his death. As you know, he really enjoyed drinking and recreational drugs, and was often found swinging from his bedroom drapes. He would also jump from balcony to balcony, and he was also swinging out of his windows until eventually he fell out of his two-story balcony. Led Zeppelin also stayed at the Chateau Marmont during the 1968s and got into on the naughty list really, really quick. The band brought over a lot of women, and they also kept on calling the front desk, ordering more booze, and they actually stole a shopping cart and were transporting naked girls through the hotel hallways. And so, of course, their stay at the Chateau Marmont was actually very short-lived. Actor, singer, songwriter Richard Harris got belligerently drunk one day and actually ran the hotel halls while banging on the hotel guest doors, yelling that there was a nuclear bomb that had dropped. Fast forward in 2007, Britney Spears also got banned from the hotel for drinking too much. She was at the main bar having drinks, and all of a sudden she became a little too drunk and started having a mental breakdown. She actually began grabbing food and kind of rubbing it all over her face and really scared all the guests. And so they decided to file a complaint, in which management decided to permanently ban her from the hotel. Sharon Tate, an American model and actress, took up residency with her husband at the Chateau Marmont. After a year or two, they decided to have a family and get pregnant, and they obviously thought that the hotel walls were not the most appropriate place to raise a child. So what they decided to do was rent like a local home in the Hollywood area. Unfortunately, 6 months after they moved into this rental, Sharon Tate and four other people were brutally murdered by the Manson family. Another tragedy at the Chateau Marmont was the one of Helmut Newton. He was a legendary fashion photographer, and one day as he was pulling out of the garage, he was driving, and about a block away, just crashed into a wall, and of course he was pronounced dead. So the police was involved, and forensics decided and came to the conclusion that there was no foul play. He actually had a heart attack while pulling out of the driveway and was accidentally killed.
The hotel rivals that of many of its guests. It was born as a deluxe apartment building just at the start of the Great Depression in 1929. Too pricey for renters, developers turned it into a hotel. Studio head Harry Cohn told his stars William Holden and Glenn Ford, if you must get in trouble, do it at the Chateau. And they did. Robert Mitchum was arrested for drug use while living here. Jim Morrison of the Doors was injured falling or leaping from a fourth-floor window.
President of Columbia Pictures, Harry Cohn, encouraged his employees, and he said, if you must get in trouble, do it at the Chateau. He actually had a presidential suite there, and it was rumored that he would bring his love affairs to the hotel every so often. Desi Arnaz, husband of Lucille Ball, was also a frequent resident at the Chateau. His Cuban charm was very outstanding with the ladies. He was a great tipper, smoker, and actually had a great time at the Chateau. It is rumored that he would go and stay there whenever he got into arguments with Lucille Ball. They were involved in a very toxic relationship, and so Lucille Ball would show up and try to catch him red-handed with other females at the Chateau. Robert De Niro and Robin Williams were also frequent residents at the Chateau. It is said that they were the last few people that saw John Belushi alive before his tragic death. John Belushi overdosed during the 1980s. Unfortunately, the Chateau actually got a bad reputation and was frequently associated with the hotel where John Belushi died. It has not been all tragedy at the Chateau Marmont. There's actually been many celebrations there, including birthday parties, GQ fashion parties, fashion shows, photography sessions, and I'm sure there has been popular weddings. Johnny Depp, in his early career in the 1980s, has been a regular ever since. He has brought his friends over, Nicolas Cage and Leonardo DiCaprio, and of course his good friend Marky Mark, aka Mark Wahlberg. They have been to be regulars at the Chateau, no real drama, just super chill. And once he married Miss Amber Heard, as you all know, during their very public, televised, defamed trial, she became a regular at the Chateau. She has been seen alone when she would state that they would get into fights, and so she would go to the Chateau for privacy. She has also been seen there with her sister Whitney and, of course, some of her friends. The Kardashian clan has also made an appearance at the Chateau, and of course the Jenners. Lady Gaga has made an appearance in her early years of her career. Another one of the tales of the Chateau Marmont is that Scarlett Johansson and Benicio del Toro had quite a soiree in one of the elevators at the hotel. Like I mentioned, there has been many celebrations at the Chateau Marmont. Leonardo DiCaprio actually celebrated his 21st birthday there. Zac Efron celebrated his 26th birthday there. Lana Del Rey and her lead guitarist also celebrated their anniversaries there. And Elton John actually hosted a surprise party for his really good friend, the late Elizabeth Taylor. If you have not figured it out already, the famous Chateau Marmont has been its home for many celebrities throughout the decades, and I find it very interesting. If you would like to do some more research, feel free. There's actually a few books on it. You can look online, and I mean, everybody from Madonna, Demi Moore, Nicole Kidman, anybody who has been anybody in Hollywood, singers, writers, producers, artists have been a part of this historical landmark. I'm fascinated by this chateau. Just a quick summary. The chateau was closed during the pandemic. Of course, it affected everyone and its residents there. And it recently opened its doors. And in February of 2022, Bey herself and her husband, Jay-Z, actually hosted the Oscar after party, which the Oscar was very popularly known for the Will Smith and Chris Rock slap, the famous slap. Okay, so Will Smith did not attend Bey's and Jay-Z's Oscar after party. He actually was too busy getting jiggy with it at the Vanity Fair after party. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please click the like button, comment, subscribe to my channel. And once again, I do appreciate it. Welcome to the Historical Landmark series. You take care.